Hello. Today I am finishing off what we were doing last week. Obviously there's parts of it that I was quite happy with, parts of it that I wasn't too keen on, so the goal of today is to add some shading, a little bit of rendering, and then from there, depending on how it's going, maybe a bit of colour as well. I think we'll start with the shading, see where it goes, and then obviously if I feel like we need to add any rendering or colour, we will then add that. Cool. So I have a number of ink pens at my disposal. Generally they are sort of a mix of water and ink at different levels to create sort of different different values, I suppose. I have light, medium, and this green one here is well, it's just pure ink, so it's rather dark. Good for some pieces, good for very bold lines, but obviously if that's not what you're after, then I'll use something else. So let's give the pen a squiggle, see if we can get the ink flowing. I usually find with these ones, because these ones are quite cheap, I got them from, I think it was Flying Tiger or something like that. It's a sort of a cheap value brand store here in the UK. I think it's Norwegian or something. But yeah, it's only like £2 for 5. And I know generally that's not, it's, doesn't speak much for the sort of value or quality of the product, but they're okay for like little sketches and that sort of thing. They're fine. So as you can see, yeah, it started quite dark, and now the ink is running pretty smooth. Good, not smooth, but pretty light. Okay. So in the reference image, there's nothing that is like too. There's no heavy shadow or cast shadows or anything like that on the buildings, which makes it a little bit tough for me to work out exactly what I'm going to be making darker. But I'm going to try and go with an angle and see where it goes from there. Okay, well, I'm going to do the bits that I know for certain are dark. And then obviously I can go back over them later to make them even darker. It's been a very busy day today. It's been one of those days where I'm so busy, in fact I forgot to even post on my Instagram that I'm streaming tonight. But that's okay. It will be a special session just for those of you that do join me, so it's appreciated. And as usual, if you do have any questions or requests, or if there's anything you want to know about myself or art in general, just let me know. I'm happy to have a chat. So I've been working on a project recently. It's a present for someone. I think I mentioned it last week. And to be fair, it's partly my fault. I knew I had this project coming up for a long time, and I kind of ignored it until I had about a month and a half left, which is pretty classic uni stuff, even not uni. But yeah, I probably should have jumped on that sooner. So I think that's a good life lesson. If life gives you a big old gap between the project and the deadline, make the most of it. But yeah, anyway, I'm currently investing a lot of my free time. I've got pointy hair. There you go. Investing a lot of my free time into finishing that piece, and it's really good fun. I'm learning a lot. I've got the paper. It's arrived today, so I will be starting to paint on that shortly. I'll be using gouache, maybe some watercolour, a sort of a bit of a mixed media with maybe some coloured pencils and that sort of thing. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't incredibly nervous. Obviously, painting is something else. You know, you've got to layer the colours correctly and make sure you understand what colours need to be there, because quite often I'll start mixing a colour and I'll apply something too garish or something that just doesn't match the reference or doesn't enhance the reference in any way. And I think that's part of it, isn't it, really? You've got to know when to keep going, when to crack on and really work on getting that colour. And if you don't understand, then obviously you need to go away and watch some videos. I think over the last half a year or so, I've started to grasp a better understanding as to how how colours work and what colours work, and I find what's weird about it is that I can't quite explain it. So I don't fully understand, I don't even partially understand colour theory. I'd be lying if I said I did. But for example, Jeff Watts from the Watts Atelier, he doesn't do colour theory, but he has a strong understanding through sort of experience, through practice and by learning that way what works with what. So I think that's kind of where I'm edging. I do have a book about colour theory that I have read, and I do plan to read it, or plan on reading it again, just because I think it's very useful to understand that sort of stuff. But as I say, colour theory isn't my top priority, I suppose. In terms of priorities and what I want to learn, draftsmanship is I guess on the top. You know, I want to have a strong fundamental I guess base of knowledge in drawing. So you know, I'll be studying people like Loomis when it comes to the body. I remember the gentleman I was studying on perspective, something Watts, as well as Marshall Van Druff as well. And he's got a fantastic resource. So yeah, I will be doing that. I wanted to look at drapery as well as some other subjects, but the more I think about it, the less relevant I feel like drapery is. It is important, it's super important, and it's not as if I'm, you know, dropping it in any way. Drapery will be studied, but I guess I just want to make sure that, you know, in terms of figure drawing and all that sort of stuff, I do have the fundamentals down, and then from that point, that solid understanding of figure and form and all that good stuff, then go from there. So yeah, because I've been trying sort of a life planning method called periodization, and essentially you have a set of goals that you want to achieve, and obviously some of them will link, some of them might not, and what you do is you plan out the year. So you plan out what you're going to be focusing on a month-to-month basis, and obviously all of us, we have a set amount of bandwidth that we can expend at any one time. So the whole point of periodization is to understand what your bandwidth is, and then understand sort of how much of that you'll be putting into each of your focuses. So for example, when I started a few months back, my primary focus was perspective. So for that month, although I did a few other things, my main focus was just to read about perspective, draw perspective, draw a lot of cubes, understand shapes a bit better, that sort of thing. And I think perhaps I need to do more of that. You know, I got to the end of the month and I was about a quarter of, well, if that, a quarter of the way through where I wanted to be. I think maybe doing it month by month isn't the right thing to do, but yeah, periodization, once you get good at it and once you know how to work out a periodization chart, it's fantastic. I know there are a few sort of fitness people that do it, obviously relating to fitness, and for them it works fantastically. Yeah, definitely worth giving it a go if that's the sort of thing that interests you. And if you can get it to work for you, then obviously you'll unlock that sort of time management aspect, I think. Okay. Again, the gentleman, he's got quite dark outlines, which I'm not terribly keen on, but yeah, I think that's fine. As I said, I made him a bit more graphic than I'd hoped for originally, but just noticed I forgot to put the railing in on this balcony, so after I've done with the first layer of darkening, I will come back to this balcony and I'll add the sort of fancy squiggles. Case of sort of adding that shading where you think it's appropriate. And again, because of how the light falls on these buildings, it's quite tough for me to work it out completely, but I think I'm gradually getting it. Okay, so it seems like my camera shut off there for a second. If that carries on, I'll have to have a bit of a play with it and see what the matter is. It's a good piece of equipment, but damn, is it temperamental. Okay, so these frames are particularly dark. I'll give them a once over, but I have a feeling I'll be going over them with medium. I probably should have done a little warm-up drawing at the beginning of the stream or prior, just because sometimes it can take some time for your sort of hands and wrists and brain to wake up, especially if you've been doing other things throughout the day. I don't know how your days have been. Feel free to let me know in the chat if you want to. Mine was okay. Work is work. You know, it can be fun at times. It can be not fun at times, but always busy. After work, I then helped the family with the baby chicks, although more, I guess, teen chicks now. They're sort of at that stage where they've just gotten rid of all of the fluff, and they look like micro-sized chickens because their tiny little feathers are starting to go through, which is very sweet. And then yeah, after that I worked out for a bit and got ready for the stream. A cheeky yogurt as well. I haven't really worked out in a while, various injuries and priorities and that sort of thing, but first leg session in 3 months. So it went okay. I'm quite scared how I'm going to feel over the next 2 days. Tomorrow, or the day trying to give the wall that sort of worn look. I don't know if I'll get it quite right with these strokes, but we'll give it a go. Of course, when the pen needs to be dry, and the pen needs to be super soaked so I can get some good coverage, it isn't. But again, this pen was dirt cheap, so I can't complain. Just in the currently of adding the inks, I think I'll make this building up here a little bit older. Once I've added the inks to the point of where I'm happy, I will just add in some final details. So I forgot to add in some of the bits here, and then once I've done that, I'll just be adding a bit of colour to a couple of these buildings, just to try and make it pop, or ruin it. I don't know. Either way, something's going to happen. Cool. So again, this building does have quite a sort of aged aesthetic to it. The paint was sort of chipping off, and so was the one up here, but it was only a little bit up here. It was sort of just below the guttering. And then up here, the same thing happened here, but this one again was quite inconsistent, apart from this bit here, which looks as though it had a bit of a pattern to the to how the sort of mortar was falling off of the walls or the paint. I think it's probably the paint, if I'm honest. Could be something to do with the room structure or something like that. Not entirely sure, but it makes for an interesting aesthetic, I think. Okay, and then we had the shutters down here. Do you see what I mean? When I want a wet brush, it comes out a little bit dry. When I want a dry brush, I've really taken to instant coffee over the last 2 years during lockdown. I used to really enjoy a good Costa, and I still do. Or those capsules for the instant machines. But actually, over the last couple of years, instant coffee, great. Splash of milk, 1.5, maybe 2 scoops of coffee, depending on how much you need it. See, look, the colour's not coming off. How interesting. There we go. Yeah, a couple of scoops of coffee, 1 sugar. Perfect. Okay. That looks a bit squiffy at the moment, but that's fine. I'm going to have a play with that after it dries, just to try and darken up some of the lines. Especially as it's made of metal, it will have a slightly different aesthetic to it. Now this wall also has some sort of crumbling to the paintwork. And as I say, I will be going back over it with a darker grey shortly. The page is starting to curl. There's a lot of liquid on the page. Okay. I think perhaps I will add some texture. bit daft, but we'll give it a go. Okay. Okay. Hoping that by just adding a little bit dry brush, maybe I can make it all look a bit more natural. I wasn't going to include it originally, there's something about the way it frames the man and how he's standing. Good evening, Sorceress. How are you doing? Well, I hope. Thanks for stopping by. It's always good to see you. Have you had a good day? I think that looks alright. I forgot to bring water, so that's fine. I'll clean that brush off in a mo. Okay, this wall is fairly clean, there's not too much scuffing. Or not too much scuffing. I think that's everywhere I want to make darker. Actually, this place darker. Day off from work, so pretty chill. Oh, that's really good to hear. I love having a good day off work. It's one of those nice stay at home, bit of gaming, bit of TV, that sort of day. Yeah, good. I'll come back to this pen in a bit. I think, as I said earlier, there's a couple of bits that aren't quite finished. Oh man, still got half a cup left of lukewarm coffee, and I just know deep in my heart that by the time I get to the end of that cup, it's not going to be lukewarm. It's going to be cold. So cold. Alright, anyway, that's enough about the cold coffee. So I realised that I didn't add the tiles? Yeah, on the top of the roof here, so I'm just going to add those in. Over here I didn't add the sort of pattern from the railings in, so I'll add those in as well. Once we've done that, I'll then jump into some colour. No, I'll jump into some darker shades and then we'll add some colour. Wasn't sure if we'd get around to anything else tonight, and if I'm honest, I'm still not sure if we'll get around to any other pictures, but you know, this is still a fun learning experience, and I think that's half the point sometimes, isn't it? You know, you want to produce something that is going to aid in your learning journey. You know, you want to make something that you're going to gain some experience from, gain those XP points. I feel like I've learned some from this. Yeah, I feel like I have learned from some mistakes, but also, yeah, it's always good just to crack out the ink brushes and have a bit of exposure to the medium. I will be painting on here at some point as well. I've only painted with gouache about 4 times, and I am incredibly okay at gouache. But being incredibly okay is okay. You know, it's not bad, which is good. I've got a lot to learn. I don't quite know how to sort of place it properly. I've been watching a lot of James Gurney, and as well as that, I think I need to brush up on the watercolour as well, because I've been using so much gouache that I started to try and use watercolour like it was gouache, and obviously that didn't work. So, oh, this one is an interesting one. Let's see if I can line it up correctly. Okay. Okay, so bit of a wiggly line there. Yes, yeah, it really is. Sorceress, yeah, watercolor is a different breed. It's such a tough medium to get right, and it can be done in different ways. Acrylics, yes, yeah. But you know, interesting you say that, because I get lost in acrylics. I find myself drowning in the thickness of acrylics. But when people are able to use them, it produces amazing stuff. But yeah, I know what you mean. Watercolor is, learning to handle it is very tough. Especially as you can, do sort of wet on wet a la Prima style, where you're laying the water on the page and then putting paint into it so it kind of spreads and you keep layering it in, or when it's dry, you add another layer and it creates those sharper edges. But yeah, damn, I didn't know you painted too much. That's cool. You have to show me sometime. Or do you still paint? Or did you paint previously? I don't know. Yeah, acrylics. I think the last time I actually used them was school. Gotta learn to lean into that chunky texture on acrylics. Watercolor, you gotta lean into the water chaos. Yeah, I feel like I am more of a water bender than a chunky bender at the moment. That sounds weird. I'm talking about Avatar, by the way. You've got 4 types of benders for each element. Fire, earth, water, and air. So, in case you thought I was being weird. But yeah, you do have to learn to lean into that chunky texture. It's incredible. And you can get some insane, like, not 3D, but like you can get some insane visceral, I don't want to use the texture, but yeah, texture. If you paint someone with like an incredible mane of hair, and you just, as you say, yeah, lean into the thick, chunky texture, you look like you can reach out and touch. I mean, you can touch the texture in the hair, which is amazing. Yeah, not something you can do so much with watercolor, but you can get some nice effects. But yeah, very cool, very cool. Maybe I'll have to get some acrylics at some point and just make an absolute mess of it. Alright, this pattern here is pattern. And when it comes to patterns, sometimes it can be quite relaxing and quite fun, until you goof it up like I just have, and then it is the most frustrating thing, because there's so many lines in the way. I'm kind of not sure where I'm going. This was a big oof on my part. Oh boy. No, it doesn't look too bad. It looks a bit squiffy, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with a little bit of squiff. Okay, coffee has sort of downgraded from lukewarm, like Gary warm. No longer is it incredibly palatable, but it's fine. I'll crack on. Okay, and then we have the other part of the pattern. So it comes up like that, and then it's 2 curls that come out and round and meet in the middle. So it comes out and round and meets in the middle. Do you know that sometimes I feel like it is Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. It's okay not to draw straight. Thank you. maybe that'll be the theme of my images for the next month. Is just wonky lines. Yeah. Do you know, I completely forgot. I've been in such a busy days. What was I? Oh yes, patterns and stuff. And I don't remember what I was saying, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've lost the pattern slightly, but that's alright, we'll pick it out. Sorceress, actually, I'm going to ask, because I feel like you will have seen this. Have you watched The Witcher? And obviously, without any spoilers, if you have, what did you think? Because I'm 2 episodes deep, and I'm really not impressed. And I wanted to be, because I love that sort of stuff. I'm just really surprised. And because it's got such high reviews, I feel like a bit of an outlier at the moment. Okay, so we've done these. That's good. I am running low. Unimpressed with Geralt's choices. Yeah, right? It was so strange. Like, again, without too many spoilers for other people, the other person. It just didn't feel quite right. Yeah, you're right. Like, you're sitting there watching it, and it just didn't. Refuse to make choices, then we get seduced, and then make a choice by not choosing, and then yeah, right. And I was just blown away by how confusing it was, and also it kind of feels like the script isn't that well written, and it's very jumpy, and maybe that's because later on in the series it gets really good, and maybe they like pull it together in some mad way, but I can't see it right now. Yeah, 2 episodes deep. Second episode was still like, oof. So we'll see. The Lord. No, you're not the only one. And even when I googled it and I was trying to see if other people felt the same way, the reviews are so high. And I love Henry Cavill as well. I think he's great. But yeah, not feeling great about it so far. But I think I'm gonna give the 3rd episode a crack shortly, and fingers crossed it gets better from there, because episode 2 was worse than the first one for me anyway. Yeah. Alright, going into medium darkness now. Nib's a little bit dry because it hasn't been used in a while. Okay, yeah, you can see that's really dark, so I need to just wait for it to lighten up a bit. Such a nerd. I'm also in the camp of I'll give it another go. Yeah, for sure, right? Because it's definitely up our avenue, you know. I like that sort of stuff. I know you do. So yeah, it feels like the sort of thing that we should enjoy, and the reviews indicate that it's great. So yeah, I agree. Give another crack at some point. And yeah, he's such a nerd, right? Like, he went to Warhammer World. A whale at a time. The guy paints minis. Oh, what a great guy. Okay, these are... yeah, this is where the brushes are quite evidently not coming in to save the day. They're a little bit squiffy on the end, and I think that's due to the fact they're so cheap, but I think that's just from dry ink actually. Yeah, there we go, that's better. Some darker trousers. Let's look for areas where I can do sort of a medium value, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump straight in with the darkest. I'm going to try really hard not to put the dark in places where I think it will negatively draw attention away. I mean, honestly, I don't even know what the focus is in this picture. I just thought I'd draw a pretty picture. But yeah, I know composition wise you should have a focus, or yeah, somewhere where the eye hits naturally and then flows around the page. Don't know if that's the case with this one, but again, bit of a learning curve, a bit of experience. Yeah. The issue is that I want to use the really dark grey, but my worry is that it's so dark it might detract from the picture. But I suppose if you don't do it, you won't know. Where's my test page? That's quite dark. I might test an area, see how it comes out. Ooh, very thick apparently. Very thick and heavy, isn't it? YOLO, let's just do it. Let's just do it. But what I'm going to try and do is use it fairly sparingly, so yeesh. It's just coming out so thick of this pen. It does look like an outline shade at best. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Maybe it's too thick. So my logic was that if it was too thick, I could go in with the medium. Let's have a look, see how that looks. And that is what it would look like roughly. It's quite graphic, isn't it? It's quite a bold graphic transition. I'm not too keen on it. Again, the same reason as this guy here's just got that really bold, graphic, chunky black outline going, which isn't what I wanted. But okay, I was just hoping the ink would dry a touch lighter. Light source is line behind picture, so you can get away with going dark in the middle bit. Yes. You mean going dark on these poles? Or going dark with these girders? Because yeah. maybe I'm just overthinking it too much. Maybe I just gotta go bam, bam. Like that guy in Futurama who, his name, Elzar, the chef. Bam! Love Futurama. Can always draw it again, that is very true. And actually I plan to paint this at some point in a much less graphic style. I want to try and give it some realism, potentially, which would be really nice. But yeah, very true. And I've just remembered how to make a gradient, so it's not the end of the world. If we can a little bit thick, that's okay. What I'm going to do afterwards is I'm also going to take a white pen to it, see if I can balance that out with the highlights. How dare you inspire me to draw when I need dinner? Why not both? You know, you could dinner and draw. Obviously, depending on what you're eating, you might need both hands, but you could like take turns, jump back and forth between the two. Something like that. But yeah, what are you thinking of? What are you thinking of drawing? Anything in particular? Let's make sure I didn't drop ink all over my t-shirt. I've already done that once. 'Twas a sad day. That t-shirt is now my painting t-shirt, so why I'm not wearing it now, I actually have no idea. Plums. Every time I drop this pen, it splatters, and I'm talking big old splatters. Actually, I think I might change my painting t-shirt. I'm worried that they're going to hit me. Alright, I will be right back very quickly, hopefully. I've literally googled drawing references because it's been so dang long. Well, what takes your fancy? A scene, a character, an animal. Ducks are always cute. I did a duck in this book a few streams ago. I think you might have been here for that. There you go, little duck being held. Yeah. Pinterest is good for that. if you need a drawing board or a board of references. I don't use it so much, but I have it. But yeah, Pinterest is great because it takes you down a massive rabbit hole of reference, and you can, you know, save it, and then just have this really cool board of things that you can draw or paint, whatever. But yes, I will be back in about 2 minutes. I'm just going to grab that t-shirt so I don't get any ink on this one. Remember how I BRB? Oh yeah, there we go. Do 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 do. It worked, I think. Yes, I'm still streaming. Brilliant. Cool. I've got some other things I need to do. I need to like add animations and stuff. I'll probably do those over the next few weeks. The deadline for my current project is 2 weeks, so once that's done out of the way, I can then start focusing on yeah, all these other side bits that I've got. Still got to finish that painting on the car that I did the other week. Actually, I don't think I showed you, Sorceress, if you're still there. This is the current border extension that I'm working on for my Etsy store. Dark Ritual. It's cool. I think it looks okay so far. I've still got more I need to do with it. But yeah, I'm just going to get myself 10 or so of these done, and then pop them up on the Etsy store. And I know I could sell them via the Facebook group, and you know, probably make a bit more money there. But I think it'd be really cool to sell some products on Etsy and get a bit of a sort of review history or something like that. Someone actually bought one of my old tokens the other day from 2018. It was so random. It was just before I went away on holiday, and someone just purchased it, which is really nice. It was one of these little goblin tokens. They look a bit juvenile now, but I mean, it has been 4 years, and I know I could do better, but I quite like it. Got a bit of a charm to it, I think. That sword would be cutting into his back, I believe. You love the goblin token. Thank you. That's really nice. Was it one of these? Was it one of these goblins that you got? Or was it a different one? Maybe it was one of my hand printed ones. I think I had these officially printed. So like a nice snappy material and the same size as magic cards. And yeah, you got the cat saproling or caproling. And then, yeah, it's in your modern deck. Oh, cool. Thank you. That's so nice of you. It's always nice to notice how they're being used. Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you. I've got some elf knights as well. Obviously a clear rip of Legolas. But you know, it's cool. I quite like it. Got some leaves and trees. And the bird with flying. I referenced those actually off of a visit to Hyde Park in London. They've got loads of parakeets there, wild parakeets, but if you have seed, they come over and they'll sit on your hand and eat the seed, which is incredibly sweet. And I've got a lot of photos of me there. I use that as reference. Got some really cool shots. But yeah. Alright, I now am equipped with my paint shirt, so you know we are immune to paint damage that apparently splashes on here. Paper is not immune. Give it a crack. So we've made this dark. Means the other material beneath it has to be dark, but I'm going to try and darken here as well. I don't know if I want to use that as too dark. See, all of this indecision would usually be done off camera. Okay. It has been so long since I've played any Magic the Gathering, especially competitively. I have a modern deck, well, a couple of modern decks. I have a legacy deck, and I even have a couple of old school decks. Getting to that point of where I'm like, okay, I should definitely keep one, but what is the point of me having all of these decks? I'll play Commander. I play Commander a lot, and I've got those casual sort of battle boxes as well, which are always good fun when you're with a casual group of friends. Yeah. I see, I haven't added a liner on the side. Probably do in a moment. very thin line. Oh, plums. Okay, let's grab that. We'll bring the dark part down. The goal is to give it that sort of heavy underline and then drag it down. I'm trying to give it that sort of deep under shadow, and I think it's kind of working ish. Oh, dropped the ink pen on my trousers, but that's okay because they're only joggers. And no one cares about joggers. Unless you're one of those people that spends oodles on joggers, in which case you probably would care. You see, I intend to at some point, purely because I have very long legs, so my joggers are too short almost all the time. I need to find some that fit, and unfortunately, for some strange reason, if you want long joggers, then you've got to fork out the monies. I should have left that a little lighter, but that's what it is. Darken this whole bit. That window shading. Tempted to make a little bit darker. Add colour or not to add colour, that is the question. It is 9 o'clock. I was going to wrap up at 9, but perhaps jump in there with a paintbrush. Okay, let me just take a quick picture as is, just in case, you know, it all goes belly up from here. And then I have proof that it was an okay picture before. Alright. Oh no! My water pen hath no water. In that case, I'm going to have to fill up the water cup. Alright. Won't do it over the ink because, knowing my luck, I will definitely pick something up. Okay. I believe that's max capacity. Yeah, there we go. Okay, just a prayer to the watercolour gods. Bless picture. Now we're going to go with a. So the building is this fantastic burgundy. Now I'm not sure if I have the colours available to do it justice actually. And if I don't, then this entire 5-minute segment may have been a moot point. Go on, let's have a look. So, take a bunch out. So I've got red. It's too bright. And the yellow is sort of a mustard yellow. Again, you know that. Maybe we just use actual watercolours, which I was attempting to do yesterday, and unfortunately failing. Okay. Oh, just got the palette out. Alright. I have these incredibly cheap watercolours from, again, I think it was Flying Tiger, but this is just a fun little picture, so I'm not too worried. Alright, vermilion, yellow ochre and lemon yellow. Let's see what we can do with that. I'll be one moment. Okay. Right. That is a touch of red, and again, I'm so used to using gouache that I keep thinking I need to use big old blobs, but I don't think that's the case. It's all a learning experience, isn't it? Now I do have painting rags. So I ripped up an old t-shirt. So I have this cool little rag that I now use for painting. Mainly because I just was bad using loads of tissues and chucking them away. Alright, I think I'll do the mustard yellow first. Perhaps I need a bigger brush. Bless me. Terribly sorry. Okay. Alright, now fingers crossed that this works. I would like a smidge more yellow. Oh, thank you. Yeah, bless me. I still haven't quite worked out how to mute myself yet, so praise the Lord, it was just a sneeze. Okay. Alright. I think this is going to do a thing. So let's try. That is a yellow. Perhaps I should have done ink or colour? That's okay. You've got to do these things to see if they work. I think because I've put the grey underneath, it mutes the watercolour. Okay. Alright, and we will just do the red. I assume that's going to pop a bit more because there's no grey. Then once I've done that, I think I'll wrap up for give myself a chance to have some dinner. Maybe watch a bit of TV, do a bit of reading. Yeah. I also need to start prepping for that project that I've got. Okay. I'm trying to work out what goes with this vermilion. I'm not sure if it's yellow ochre. You need to add a smidge of light inking up here. Perhaps a touch of burnt umber. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I know there's going to be a bit of yellow in there, but make do. There we go. Good luck, have fun. I've just noticed that the red is leaking down into the yellow, so I don't have long to do this, otherwise I'll run out of time. Also, this paper isn't built for heavier washes, so I think it's starting to buckle. Okay. I think that looks like... Yeah, that looks alright. Looks a bit shiny in the camera just because of the light that I've got currently on it. But once it dries, I'll take some photos and I'll put it on my Instagram. Okay, I think all in all this is an okay picture. Definitely some parts that could be improved, definitely some parts that worked. I was contemplating adding some green, but I think I will leave that part. I am, however, going to add some highlights in the hope to let this pop a little bit. Did you end up drawing Sorceress, or did the Hunger for Dinner win out? Because the Hunger for Dinner is definitely starting to win for me, which is part of the reason I'll be wrapping up in a moment. Wolfed down some rice, got a little page done. Oh, I'd love to see it if you're up for showing it at some point. But yes, I think I will call that there for today. Maybe I'll come back to it again at some point in the future. Maybe I'll leave it as it is. I think the colours are a little less jarring in person. But yeah, so there's the guy standing on the railing. You know, maybe I could have added some green highlights, or yeah, I think I'll leave that there. So this is the man in Lisbon, and next week I will likely be working on this page some more. I think I got a bit of worry because I like this picture so much. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I was worried that maybe I might ruin it, but I think I'll just crack on in that style and see what I can do. Looks like a lesson in colour values. Yeah, thank you, Sorceress. It definitely felt like that. You know, it definitely felt, because there wasn't much variation in the reference, it felt like a bit of a challenge and gave me a chance to adapt and work it out myself. So yeah, it was a good experience. And as I say, next week I think will be chickens, and as usual, if I get any time throughout the week on an ad hoc basis, I'll jump in. But yeah, all good. Thank you very much to everyone that joined. Thank you, Sorceress, for jumping in the chat. It was really nice to catch up with you, and really good to have a bit of a chat. I hope you enjoyed dinner. I hope you had fun doing the drawings. I hope you have a lovely chill evening, and if you've got work tomorrow, sorry, I do too, so don't worry. But yeah, again, thanks for joining, and I'm sure I'll see you soon. Bye.